Hi, I'm Nicholas Wallwork. I'm here today in Fleet in Hampshire at my mentee client site. I'm working with them on this huge commercial to residential conversion. It's an office that we're converting into 44 flats, 30,000 square feet, one of the biggest you've seen. I'm hugely excited to be involved in it, and we're here at month 2 at the end of the strip out. Basically, we're just going to document the process. We're going to go around every month, document it, so by the end of the year you'll see everything from start to finish that's involved in a huge commercial to residential scheme such as this. So let's get the PP on and go and have a look round. Well, as you can see, we're on the ground floor here in this site. Huge open plan floor plate. There's a couple of light wells in 2 places on each floor that bring light into the lower level. So you've got some funky kind of little courtyard designed flats in the middle of the building. All the rest of the flats go around the outside, as you might expect. Lots and lots of windows on this site. So, something with commercial conversions is really important to look at where the windows are laid out. Is there space for new windows? Are there existing windows you can utilize? Sometimes planning to get new windows can be impossible, can be difficult, or very hard to get through. It can be timely. If you can't get them through in time, you can't build on time. If you're paying expensive bridge loans or development finance, that can cost you a fortune waiting for planning for a few windows. So we've got the luxury on this site, as you can see, of windows the entire way round. So actually, we'll be more likely paneling out a couple of those windows so that we can fit walls where we want to put them, rather than having to apply for new windows. We're at the point here of nearly finished stripping out. We'll go upstairs in a minute and look at that. That's completely finished, completely open plan, a nice clean building. I love starting with a fresh slate on a building. You can really see the transformation as the walls go up and the building starts to come alive. But here on the ground floor, you can see there's a bit of stuff to clear, but we're nearly there. But follow me around. We'll have a little peek round, because I say we're a month through here of the strip out. We're documenting this process throughout the whole of the build. If you'd like to follow it, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to be notified of these new videos, and follow this journey of this huge 30,000 square foot commercial to resi conversion as we build it. Come on with me. If anyone needs any electrical wire for their house, feel free to come down to Fleet to pick some up. Fair bit of cabling here, and you can imagine when all this stuff comes out of the building, it's amazing to see the amount of wires, the amount of electricity, the amount of air conditioning ducting. The stuff that they pull out is quite incredible. The waste is immense, and everything's recycled. You can see all the different recycling bins we're going to come up to in a moment. Different types of recycling for different purposes. We've got copper in the building, we've got wiring, we've got plasterboard. So it's really important to be conscientious developers, conscientious builders. Safety is of paramount, of course. Myself and all the crew and everyone around here, as you can see, is all in their PPE safety equipment. It's really, really important to make sure that the safety of your staff, your site, the visitors, is of paramount importance. I'm being constantly reminded of that of my project manager, and I'm obviously an advocate of that. So yeah, it's good to get a safe site that you can walk around without too much trouble. So we just walked around the back of the building here, and we've got Yuri, one of our team. Hi Yuri, good to see you. Nice to see you. We're digging a huge hole here, and the reason for this hole, randomly in the middle of the floor plate, is to understand the structural integrity of the concrete slab here. This building is a steel frame building. It's built on a concrete slab, and the slab actually makes up a huge part of the integrity and structural support of the building. So we need to know how far down it is. Is it a floating slab? Is it reinforced? What's it made up of? And that will feed into the structural engineer's report on the overall fabric of the building. So when we start putting up our mezzanine floors and our rooms, we want to make sure that we're not affecting the structural integrity of the building. Hugely important. Obviously, be careful of the hole. Don't fall in it. But that's the reason for a big hole in the middle of the floor. Over here now, we're coming up, you'll see actually, if we can pan around with the cameras here, a couple of big roller shutter doors. We've got one over here, and we've also got one back the other way at the far end of the building there. Now these were part of the industrial use. There's the other one in the back of the scene there, if you can catch that. These were part of the industrial use of this building. It was an office, I should say, but it was still for access and deliveries. This was used by, I think, a mobile phone producer actually that created very high-end mobile phones, believe it or not. That's why a number of these windows are actually glazed out, because it was quite high quality, high-end, expensive products stored here. But we have to put in what's called a fenestration application for planning to get rid of these roller shutter doors and to brick up the bottom half and put windows back in. Now, it doesn't seem that contentious, but you don't want a couple of roller shutter doors on the side of your lovely residential building. So that's an application we're getting in really quickly, so that it's approved in time so that probably a third of the way through the build, that will come through and we can put these windows in. We think it's an extremely low risk planning application, but it does need a planning application nonetheless. And a fenestration planning application basically deals with the look and feel of the outside of the building. Things that will also be on that planning application will be things like the vent locations, where you're venting out the air from the en-suites and the kitchens, the dirty air going out or the damp air going out. Those will be through holes punched in the facade of the building. Now that will essentially slightly change the look of the building, very, very slightly. But we include all of those things on what's called a fenestration application, so that the planners are happy, make sure we are building something that looks nice once we're finished. We're doing a proper high-end job. We've done the ground floor now, so let's have a quick pop upstairs and see what it will look like in a few days' time once they've cleared out all that rubbish. So here we are upstairs. This is the nice, clean, clinical, tidied up, sweeped up first floor of this building. And doesn't it look beautiful? This is the bit I get really excited about, when it's fully stripped out and you can kind of see the space you're working with. It's like when an artist gets handed a blank canvas, you're kind of like, right, you know, this is where we start creating. This is where we start moving forward. This is where we start taking the build to the next level and getting things pop up. So in the next couple of weeks, we've got the dry lining company coming in. The guys have already been measuring and setting out. I'd like to show you this stuff now before the walls go up. We've got, and I don't know if you can pick this up on the cameras, we've got a load of yellow lines set out. They're actually spray painted on just for a visual impact, but actually there's very detailed lines drawn on here, and these have all been measured up by presumably the civil engineers and one of the engineers on the team to mark out a grid so that everything can be kind of keyed off that grid. So the yellow lines won't be walls, they won't be where things are put, but it's the grid lines throughout the building, to give you a measuring off point. And you can see over here, they've already started measuring out the corridors for the building. So actually, you can see down here, you would come in up these stairs. This is the green corridor coming up here. You turn a corner, and you're down the side of the building. So ultimately, you can follow me down the side here as I'm talking. I'm walking down the corridor now, with each of the apartments going off the side. So this might be a door, for example, and I'm into the apartment. Here I am. I've got my kitchen over here running alongside the corridor in the back. Now what I tend to do with our layouts is try and keep the kitchens in spaces where there are no windows. Not intentionally, but if you've only got a limited number of windows or you want to maximize the window space in an apartment for the livable rooms, whether that's the lounge, the bedrooms, it's good to put the kitchens at the back of the apartment, you know, because you don't want a bedroom with no windows. You know, firstly, building control won't allow it. It's not a nice space to live in. So you put all the livable, usable space where people will spend most of their time out towards the windows, which is great. So you would have your kitchen in here, little corridor. You can imagine door here, maybe into one bedroom. You have a little door here. I hope you're visualizing this at home, you know. You blue sky thinking, you know. Another bedroom over here or a lounge. So yeah, each flat is just dotted along this site. They're all slightly different shape and size based on window locations, stair locations. We've got 44 apartments going in this building, so you can imagine probably roughly 22 on this floor. So as we walk around, probably roughly, you know, 8 to 10 down each side of the building. But very exciting. And then in the center of the building, you would have the courtyard apartments. So two large, and you can see them much clearer on this floor than you can on the ground floor, two large Lightwell courtyard spaces, and around those is two apartments. One, so if we're looking at this courtyard space, there'd be one on a kind of a C-shaped wrapped around this side and another C-shaped the other. So you just have two apartments sharing that space. Kind of city living space, you know. It's not necessarily looking out over green hills, but if you like something a bit more funky, a little bit more urban feel, and we're going to sort of landscape those to make them look really attractive, a bit like city centre London living. You've got a kind of funky, kind of loft style apartments there as well. So there's something in this building for everyone. Follow me round. So kind of follow me, we've just done the walk of the corridor, and you see the corridor on the ground now. We've got the corner here. It's literally a rectangle, so it's quite easy to follow. Follow me round the corridor. We're walking the corridor of the building, and as we cut together these videos over the coming months, we're going to do the same walk through this same corridor. It'll be really interesting to see how it evolves as we go. I'm going to stop here briefly just to remind you of the mezzanines that are going in. In these central apartments here, they have a mezzanine room up in the roof space, and if you can see, now's the perfect time to see the kind of way the building is constructed. You've got the pitched roof finishing right in the middle there. All four pitches are culminating here. In this middle space, right up to probably where I'm standing now, to the other side, that's quite a huge area to create some extra rooms in. So each of these 4 apartments all have a large mezzanine room up in this roof space. And that's, you know, about 2.5 times ceiling height. So plenty of space up there. We're going to punch some extra holes through into the courtyard spaces for those rooms at the top. So on this facade up here, where you've got all this cladding up here, there's going to be some new windows punched in up there for the mezzanine rooms that are up in that space. So yeah, hugely exciting design, and you see it now. Let's see what it looks like as the weeks progress. It's going to be interesting to see it come alive. There'll be another window punched up in this area as well. So windows bound both mezzanine areas. Looks pretty plain now, but yeah, can't wait to see what those turn into. It's kind of using every inch of space. You know, the great thing about some commercial spaces is that you can use volume. You know, I try and get the ceilings up as high as practically possible or viably possible. If you go too high, you end up plastering a load more space. It can cost a lot. But there's a nice compromise to be had there with reasonably high ceilings and using mezzanines. You even get extra rooms out of it. That's extra saleable GDV. We're really sweating the asset. We're really asset managing this site to get the most out of it for the client. So there we are. There's month 2 of strip out, almost complete. Couple more days on the ground floor, just clearing away all those electrical cables and just finishing off the last bits of tidying up. So really nice to see the blank canvas that we've got here at Fleet in Church Crookham. 30,000 square foot commercial to resi conversion. This was an office. We're going to make the outside of the building look beautiful. We've got lots of landscaping designs. We're looking at little building wraps. We're looking at painting it different colours. So we've got some exciting things to come there in the future, which we'll talk about on further videos as this evolves. So if you'd like to follow this build, this conversion, one of the largest commercial to resi conversions in the UK right now, certainly one of the biggest being documented, please reach out using the contact details around this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos. If you'd like to work with me on a mentorship basis, reach out. The details also around this video. Look forward to hearing from you very soon.